All right. We had a great episode last week, Hanging with the Cushions. It was nice to finally talk to Mike and get him to sit down. And Sherry's just an unbelievable horsewoman. But we had that exclusive international interview in Espanol with Juan Franco, and we're looking forward to speaking with more Latinos on the circuit, anywhere from Guatemalans like Juan to the Mexicanos, and he even mentioned the Argentinians. But we've got a Southern guy on the line. Randy D, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
There he is. We had a little technical difficulty earlier. I want to apologize for that, but let's just jump right into the conversation. What generation horse person are you?
I just like doing it. Like, I grew up doing it. I got 2 generations before me did it.
So you are third generation?
Yes, I am.
Now, is it just on your father's side, or did your mama's side have any type of influence?
No, it's all on my dad's side.
Wow. So I guess where are you originally from, and then where are you based at currently? I heard you moved from Ohio to Indiana?
Correct.
But where are you from originally?
Crisler, Mississippi.
Okay, so you know all the Southern Bois.
Yeah, we know all of them.
So we're talking, like I was saying earlier, I mean, you're talking, you know Latrell, it was in our introductory interview, you know, you probably know Spence, but he was from Bolivar, Tennessee, but you know everybody from, you know, JP, Jamaica Patton, you know, Gator, you know, Rashawn, you know, all those guys, all those fellows.
Yeah, all of them.
What was it like growing up down south?
It's normal life, as far as the horses going. Our dad was, you know, we'd go to the track with our dads and training God, and they was kind of pretty tough on us, you know. But besides it, it was all fun. We all hung out, we cooked, we eat, we have mayonnaise every Sunday or Saturday, depending on, you know, the holiday or something, or if it's going to rain Sunday, we'll do it Saturday. It was all fun.
When I talked to Man, you know, John the Man Hughes, we call him the Godfather, I had asked him what a show-up is. Can you explain to people that don't understand what a show-up is, where everybody pulls up the truck and trailer, like you say, you cook out, and you have different things going on like Rashawn does?
Yeah, everybody get together, this person call that person, and next thing you know, it's like a whole bunch of horses, a whole bunch of people, kids, four-wheelers, horses, barbecue grills, pots. Coolers full of beer. It's a good time. Yeah, but
you're not paying the concession prices at the racetrack. You're pulling coolers out, you're barbecuing.
No, we're not paying it. Everybody, bring their own stuff, or we don't mind sharing.
Well, you mentioned the weather, and now I talked to you earlier about Cordarius. I had an exclusive interview with him a couple of years ago at the Night of Champions, and I asked him specifically about the elements. Do you think the rain has positive bearing on the way that you guys drive and your driving style down south compared to people on other circuits?
I would agree with you on that. Like I said, we're like down south, like the weather's hot or it's raining or whatever, and it kind of really don't stop us. But we have a lot of we got like nerves, like we don't fear for much. So the rain, our guys, we have an advantage because we have the nerve, like we're eager to win. We're not scared to take risks. We take chances, so where guys can't see and whatever, it don't bother us.
So you can make those split-second decisions on the track and be confident in those moves you're making.
Right, exactly.
I've seen some moves with Jordan Ross. I've seen some moves with Jamaal Denson. I've seen some moves with some of these Southern Bois. I'll tell you, man, it blows me out of the sky. It's like, if you got your Under Armour on, if you got the layers on, you got the correct goggles on for the elements, it doesn't bother you in the wintertime, really, does it?
It don't bother. Don't get me wrong now, we dread going out there, but once after the first race, we're in it to win it, we're there.
Interesting. So you moved from the Ohio circuit, and now you're based at Hoosier Park. You said it's your second year. What's it like at Hoosier, I guess, compared to the Ohio circuit?
Not much really difference. At Hoosier Park, you got the track difference, which Ohio's 5'8", Hoosier's 7'8". People the same. They are friendly. They welcome you with open arms. I met quite a few people here since I've been here. Real nice
just won with Time Master. And let me just ask, I mean, why didn't you drive Time Master when he won the other day with Josh?
I drove him a couple times before that, and I did some adjustment for his equipment, and he's kind of a funny horse to drive, and Josh drove him and won with him before, so I did the maintenance and did change equipment, and I wanted to sit on the sideline and really just see, you know, sometimes Franny got to sit on the sideline to see does it change his work or whatever, but Josh gets along with him, so I'm fine with that.
So, you know, being a driver, we see you out at the Red Mile, we see you out at Scioto and on the Ohio Circuit and now at Hoosier Park. When you're walking back to that winner's circle and you're having that talk, I mean, we're all watching you on simulcast, what types of conversations are you having with them? Is it like a trainer-driver relationship, or is it making you a stronger driver?
Kind of both. I mean, but basically it's trainer-driver. The driver's basically telling me, you know, even like Josh is on Time Master and with me, he's like, okay, we got him figured out, you know, this rigging right here works, so we'll keep him like this, you know, basically just telling me, you know, that the rigging that I changed works.
Interesting. So here's the bottom line question. We all were rooting for you when you went out east. They had that Martin Luther King race. What happened around that final turn? We were all rooting for you at 10-1 on the rail with the Burke horse. But then he snuck up on you now.
Yeah, middleweight just stretch, my horse started bearing out, and you know, and we couldn't whoop like we wanted to because the judges gave us speech about whipping, like, and he was like 500 out of bounds in 5 days, no warning or nothing. So he kind of spooked me a little bit. So I was like, you know, I ain't no way out here to get fined just spend them 5 days. So. I mean, you know, I'll take the second.
Now, you've won plenty of races in your lifetime. You know, we could look you up on the stats with the infamous record-keeping agency, the U.S. Trotting Association. But I guess, you know, seeing Eric win that race, you know, what was that feeling when you saw him go by you? Were you kind of rooting for him?
Yeah, that was definitely. We're friends, and yeah, I congratulated him. I was very happy for him. His first win on the family track. Like, you know, I was real happy for him.
Oh, it was Devin. It wasn't Eric.
Yeah, it was that one. Eric got third.
Oh, okay. I got him mixed up now. So it was Starks 1-3 with you in the middle.
Yeah.
Interesting. What about the work that was done with Jessica? I mean, she orchestrated that, and it was a phenomenal event. I mean, do you think we should, like, do some more promotions, let's say, with BET or something?
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, it even wouldn't hurt to do it at more tracks, you know, or make it like a series instead of just one race. I mean, make it like a series, like 2 races and a final or something like that. You know, something more instead of just at one race, you know. Yeah,
because, I mean, they get everybody coming out east, and we heard what happened to your luggage. I mean, what was it like wearing Joe Von Journal's colors?
Well, I looked at Montreal Pig. I wanted to find somebody with red and black and white colors, so I looked at Montreal Pig, and I'm looking at him like, no, it ain't going to work. Like, I'm way taller.
I mean, George might adopt you and have you start trading with him and everybody else like Clyde. He'd be like, come on, hang with us, huh? He might take you and his family. But, I mean, seriously, did it affect you at all? I mean, you were just in your mode. You were in beast mode. It didn't matter what colors they had. It didn't matter that they lost your stuff.
Yeah, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. My main thing was to be able to drive with someone colors, because that's what I was worried about when I got there. And I went to the judges, and I showed them the paperwork, and it was like, you know, it happened. We're cool with it. Find your set of colors. Let us know what colors you're wearing, and we'll go from there.
Well, then I guess this is a shout out to El Dorado. You guys got to do something like this at Hoosier Park for the brothers. I mean, you got to do something outside of what they're doing out east and start promoting other holidays, or just have, like you're saying, like a regular series. I mean, I'll promote the hell out of it, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You know, Ryan Macedonio is doing something with his Trot for Charity, and I'm going to say this on the record. We're going to ramp it up this year. We had a nice discussion. He was playing pool with some friends, and we started talking. And I won't make public, you know, what our plans are, but we're going to ramp this up. I mean, would you be willing to spend, like, I guess, $100 for a jersey and promote a charity of your choice?
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Okay, I mean, let's just ramp it up, and let's try to get the word out to these tracks. I mean, we want to have more of these series highlighting, I guess, the politically correct way is diversity. I mean, we have to start promoting this business in a... All right, so we had a great interview with Randy D., but we've got a driver now on the circuit throughout the Midwest that everybody's talking about. Jamaal, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Where are you at right now? Were you training or feeding? Or I heard you just dropped some hay. Where are you at, man?
Currently I'm in Mississippi training down at my home track in Canton, Mississippi. And
so
I'm training down here right now.
What generation horseman are you?
Well, actually, Roshan Tree started me driving horses, so nobody in my family really ever messed with harness horses. I was the first one to mess with harness horses in my family.
Now, do you have a child? I heard through rumors you might have a child. Is that true?
Yes, I have a 4-year-old daughter. Her name is Skylar J.
So do you think you might be instilling your knowledge into her and she might be a horsewoman in the future?
Yes, she loves horses. She comes to born with me all the time when the weather permits.
Wow, that'll be interesting to see. So where did you first hear about the Horseman's Voice, if I can ask you?
I noticed you on Facebook when you were doing, you did a record on John Hughes. That's Man Hughes, Man Hughes.
The Godfather.
The
Godfather. How long have you known Man for?
I known him for a long time. He played a big part of me coming over into Kentucky and driving, and that's why I drive it a lot. He actually brought me over there, and then I started driving horses over there, and that's why I kind of took off there.
So here's a question that everybody wants to know. Were you an athlete growing up? Like, what sports did you play, I guess, when you were young and then through middle school and high school?
I actually ran track. I actually was going to run track, but I was actually had a scholarship to go run track, but I didn't because I hurt myself, and then I would always go on the road with Roshan in the summertime, and he would take me to race horses with him in the Illinois County Fair. That's why I actually won my first race in Illinois on the horse that Roshan trained, Fox Valley Kareem. I actually remember her name and everything. So.
Interesting. So you have that competitive, I guess, grit and that competitive spirit when you're out there on the racetrack. Let's talk about your driving. What is it? I mean, just from a simple standpoint, before we get into our conversation, what is it with you and driving? I mean, is it the competitiveness you learn from track? Do you just have that heart? Like, what is it?
Yes, well, I actually thought what made me just want to get into the driving is because I was actually down here in Mississippi. We have, it's a big thing with the harness horses, but we don't race them under the buggy all the time. We race them under the saddle. And I was winning a lot with it, and I got bored with it. And so, like I said, when I talked to Roshan, and he said, "Hey, come and drive some horses for me." And then it just took off from there, and ever since then, I loved it ever since then. And then I like, competing against other people. I have a very competitive spirit. And Randy D, when you just mentioned him, I grew up watching him too, and I said, man, I'm gonna be up there with Randy one day. And so I'm trying to, just do something that nobody has ever done before.
What other guys would you say besides, King Rashawn and Randy D, the Criz, and I guess what other guys from down south, were either growing up with you or mentors with you, coming up in the circuit?
There's a lot of guys down here in Mississippi that race harness horses in Mississippi. There's quite a few of us guys down here. I can name a lot of them, but those. I guess it's another guy down from my way, Rico Johnson. He raced the harness horses. He gave me a couple horses to train and let me drive some horses for him and stuff. So it's quite a few guys down here that have played a big role in me in harness racing.
So here's the ultimate question. I asked this to Cordarius a couple years ago. I did ask this to Randy D earlier in this episode. What is it about the weather? What is it about just that hardcore rain and just that extreme heat? Like, does it give you guys an advantage when you're on the track when you come and race at the Red Mile and race at the Illinois State Fair and just race throughout, I guess, Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, Kentucky? Like, do you have an edge because of the fact you're racing in this extreme weather?
Well, most of the time down here in the winter time is kind of wet, and so we jog on dirt track. So most of our horses already know how to get around the track when they're muddy and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say we have the edge, but our horses just know how to race and slop and not get level 36 and stuff like that, because we don't have, I wouldn't say don't have good tracks, but they're not like the Red Mile and Hawthorne and Hoosier Park and stuff like that. They're not good like that.
But the question is, let's say, it's the middle of winter and you're freezing yourself out there. You put your undergear on and you're warm. And you're out there, you got your goggles on, and let's say you're coming first up on a guy, and the guy's on the rail and he can't get out. Are you just fearless out there? Are you just like no holds barred war, like let's go, and it's just nothing's going to scare you?
Oh yeah, no, nothing is going to scare me when it comes to something like that. I mean, because the way we, driving down here, like I said, it's totally different than driving at any other big tracks and stuff like that. So I think it gives us more of a awareness than anything. So, when we know like it's raining or something like that, I mean it really don't phase us, because like I said, we train in that type of stuff, so it's not really a big deal.
So what are your plans for the future? I mean, you're obviously training in the off-season down back home in Mississippi. Like, what are you going to be doing, I guess, this spring and this summer? What are your plans?
I plan on coming back up, hopefully race at the Red Mile. And this year I said that I wasn't going to come back to Mississippi, so I plan on staying up there, up north somewhere, and try to make a little noise and get my name out a little bit more. People not find me maybe stable to drive for or something like that. Somebody give me a chance like that. So hopefully you'll be seeing my name a lot more, because I basically just race in the summertime, and when I do, I mean, I do really good, because I had drove a lot of, Tony gave me a chance, Tony Lonnie gave me a chance to drive for him a couple times, and I actually went 49. That's the fastest I ever been on a horse. 49, Mr. Tony Lonnie gave me a chance to drive on his horse.
Tony, obviously, with his mother, Donna Lee, Quad City Downs, he's a second trainer for Irv Miller, and he's one of the elite trainers these days. Do you see yourself driving for more elite trainers that are going to trust you with their literally hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of horses?
Yes, I think if I actually just get out a little bit more, and like I said, leave Mississippi, I'll have a great chance of driving some more for, more big time training and stuff like that.
Well, I guess how can people get in touch with you? I mean, Facebook, or get your phone number from somebody else, your email? I mean, what's the best way to find you if people want to list you?
Facebook. I can get my number out or whatever. But yeah, Facebook would be the best way. And like I said, my main problem is that I just come back to Mississippi, so I don't think I'll be coming back to Mississippi next winter. And I'll just say maybe I'll go somewhere, wherever I go, that's where I go, and hopefully I can, drive a couple nice horses for somebody, and I can get my name out a little bit more, because I think I have the talent to do so.
Well, let's spell your name so they all know it. We get it right. It's Jamaal, Jamaal Denson, Denson. Look for that name, list that name, tell this man how to drive. I'm assuming you follow instructions, build on these relationships. Is there anybody in the industry you want to give a shout out to before we finish up?
Yes, I would like to give a shout out to Horseman for one, for, helping me, putting me in driving horses. And like I said, I'd like to give a shout out to John Hughes. He brought me over to Kentucky, and Randy, and there's basically everybody from Mississippi. And Mr. Lawrence Cooper actually, he let me drive every single one of his horses, no matter what. So I'd like to give a big shout out to him too.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you this summer. I don't know where I'm going to find you. If it's at the fairs in Illinois, if it's at Hawthorne, if it's at the Big OG, but I can't wait to shake your hand and actually meet you formally. And I wish you the best of luck, man. But guess who's next? The king of the fairs, Rashawn Trigg. So let's see what Rashawn has to say. But I really, really appreciate your time. It's been great talking, and let's keep in touch, man.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thanks, man. This has been a great opportunity.
All right. Take care now.
All right.
All right, so we had a great interview with Randy D, third-generation horseman, and with Jamaal, a very up-and-coming driver on the circuit. But we've got the man, and it's not the Godfather. This is the man down south. I don't even know what his nickname is. Rashawn, you there?
I'm here.
All right, we got Rashawn Trigg, a man down south that basically just knows everybody and everybody respects him. What generation horse person are you, Rashawn?
Well, my father, he used to ride horses, but I got into harness racing with a man by the name of Willie Eggman Jones. So I would say I'm second generation. Do that way.
Willie Jones, we all know Willie. Is he the guy that wears the big cowboy hat and walks around?
Right, he used to pass on a couple of years ago.
Oh, we all remember Willie now. So, I guess, what was your introduction, if I can ask, to the Horseman's voice? Do you remember us back in the day?
No, I really don't.
Okay, it's like, I know a lot about you. You might not know a lot about us, but everybody talks about Rashawn. And let's start. World-class racing. What is world-class racing? How is it started, I guess? And, what are you guys doing these days?
Well, world-class racing is a group of guys that support Rashawn Trigg. They buy horses, whether they're mediocre bred, decent bred, or whatever they can get. They just do it because they're my friends and family, and they just support me.
Okay, because, Gator sighting. Gator was the one that originally, I guess, brought horses up to the Chicago circuit, and we all saw world-class racing. What other guys have you worked with over the years besides Gator?
Oh, a lot of them. Randy, Jamaal, Gator, Jamaica, Ronnie Gillespie. I think a lot of people come to world-class racing on the story. I run Kadarius Stewart. I run a lot of fair horses, and they give young drivers a chance to get in the bike and get their start.
We talked about that last week with Mike Cushing. How important do you think the fair circuit is as like an incubator for drivers or trainers that are up and coming on the scene?
Oh, I think it's good. It teaches a lot of hard work, and I think the fair circuit is one of the toughest circuits to run. You got to get up in the morning, get your horses job, then get on the road and drive hours and race, then get back to the barn and prepare for the next day, and you still got a 3-hour ride to the next day. So it's a lot of work.
If it's not a fair race, and if it's not a pari-mutuel race when you're shipping up or out, can you describe to everybody yourself as the man behind the vision of a show-up? What is a show-up, for those that don't know?
What do you mean by show-up?
Show-up, it's like old-school harness racing. Everybody talks about where they all show up with their with the trailers and with their trucks, and they bring the beer out, and they're cooking, and they got the barbecues, and everybody's out there racing.
You talking about I do a race down here called Dash for Cash, and it's a race where it's kind of like a family reunion, as you say. The first, it's usually like the first race of the year. A lot of people get together, bring their coats out for next year, and you get a chance to see what Freddie Tan Jr. got in his bars that day. You can see what Tommy Grant's starting out. You can see what whoever's starting out with their coats. You get a chance to see on that. You get a chance to see a feature race. It might be nephew with Rock and Robber versus Pretty Face regular race or something. You get to see a feature race, and what we do with world class racing, with some of that money, we like to do like a scholarship for somebody starting school or something. If it ain't nothing but buy their books or something for that year.
So you're always getting back to the community. I've been down south. I haven't really done a gator alert, but I kind of went down in your area when I went down to Bolivar and saw Spence. What other things are you doing as far as promoting? I guess you're in the arcane industry as well?
Well, we do a couple of shows, the blues shows and stuff like that. A lot of people want me to do a lot of promoting, but I try to keep it minimum now, do a little stuff. So a lot of people want me to throw a show. They like the shows and presentation that we put on, so we always still have to do something.
We talked with Randy D. You know, he went out to the Mez, and Devon won the Martin Luther King race. What do you think about doing something along the lines of like a trot for charity, like Ryan Macedonio's doing? Do you think the racetrack should incorporate more of the charity aspect, the non-for-profit aspect into the racing?
I wouldn't know whether they would or not, but I think that would be a good idea. But, you know, you really don't know what horse racing going now with all the different stuff they're trying to cut out and stuff like that. So I really don't know where they would go with that.
All right, well, let's cut to the chase here now. I want to talk about the weather. I do this with all the Southern boys. What is it about the weather that makes you guys tough, makes you guys gritty, makes you guys literally fearless out on that racetrack? I mean, when they're out there in the winter, as long as they're wearing their layers, these Southern boys, they can outdrive anybody. What is it?
We get a little bit of all kind of weather down here. Like today, we got ice and sleet and freezing rain and stuff like that. Then Tuesday, I think we had short sleet weather, so we get a dose of it all. Maybe not very much snow, but we get a little bit of all kind of weather. This Mississippi weather, it changes, kind of like politics.
Because Jamaal had said, you know, you can throw us in that extreme heat and it doesn't bother us. But he also said, like I was saying, like if as long as you're wearing those layers, you guys are so cool and calm and collected out there because you're literally dealing with those elements throughout the year. I mean, do you really think that has an effect on the different driving styles than people further up north that are just used to the 4 seasons casually coming through? Is it more aggressive down there with the weather and it just toughens these guys up?
Well, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think it do. Like I said, you got to be prepared for anything coming from the south. And then a lot of these guys, they move up north and they stay a great time up there. But me, myself, I'm not as tough as Jamaal is. I kind of like the southern weather better.
And, you know, and we saw a video with Man. He's got like these hills and stuff he's training Rock and Robert on and that clay surface. How important is it to train on a clay surface and get their feet ready and prepped for the year?
Oh, well, I think it's very important on what surface you train on. Like a horse coming off a sand track, it don't make a difference than a horse coming off a limestone track every day. So I think sometimes that horse on a sandy track like Man Hughes got, it helps his feet because he's not pounding on that limestone every day, so that saves your horse and everything.
I remember, I was going to say, I remember I took a ride down to Des Moines with Spence. We had Chili with us, and he had Red Rover in a $30,000 race. And Spence won his biggest stakes race of his career at that point in time, and he was ecstatic, and people didn't really understand, like, his horse is trained on a clay surface. Yeah, I was working with his owner, you know, KD, Kevin Dixon, and, you know, showing him how to massage a horse and how to relax him before a race, the night before, what have you. But I really think it really plays a difference, like you're saying, that sand and limestone versus that clay. Do you think the horses know when they're on that clay surface and that they can excel more? I mean, do they really know the footing and the difference?
Well, I think so. And I think the horse that haven't had a chance to really work on a surface like that. I think it might struggle a bit because it's not used to giving up on them and whatnot.
So do you think track should pay more attention to their surfaces? I mean, Oak Grove had issues last year where they got rained out. It appeared, and I'm saying this on the record, it appeared that they were more concerned with building the facility than actually taking care of the track, and they got burned. I mean, the rain came, and the irrigation system wasn't set up, and they got shut down for 2 weeks. And then when they come back, that surface was perfect. Everybody was saying how amazing that surface was. I mean, how important do you think it is in just preparing the surface day in and day out?
Oh, well, if anybody know, well, just take for instance down here in Texas, the neighbors over, it's a track goes by LK down. They got a good grader, man. You can just walk there and look at that track and you can tell exactly if they know what they're doing. Just like Hoover down here in Mississippi, you go to that track and those guys work that track. They work this track, that's why I'm training them right now. They work that track right before the rain, and as soon as it gets dry again, they work again. So they always watching the weather, and they try to be prepared for whatever weather we having, so you won't go through those issues like we did at Oak Grove.
Interesting. I made it to, Springfield for the last of the, whatever the governor wanted to coin them, the county fair replacement races or whatever. They didn't want to call them the Illinois State Fair races. Do you think that Springfield literally is the world's fastest racetrack, and that grounds crew is one of the best grounds crews in the world?
I can say it used to be, but I think the Red Mile probably taking that over by now.
Interesting. Well, we're running out of time, and I'm going to say this, man. Not Man Hughes, but I'm going to say this to you, Rashawn. We want to do another interview with you. We want to focus on your breeding operation because you have horses all over the place. You got peaches with horses all over the place, and we want to delve more into what you're doing as far as breeding. But like I said, we've run out of time. Is there anybody in the industry you want to give a special shout out to besides old man Willie Jones and your father? Anybody that's helped you throughout the years?
Oh yeah, my number one help, and she don't really like horses. Miss Keita Sweet.
I'm assuming that's your wife?
Yes, sir.
And you got some beautiful daughters as well. You're a family man. Everybody loves you, respects you. And like I said, we're running out of time, but next week, we got somebody from out east that runs the Harness Racing Alumni Show, and that's going to be the episode to watch. I'm turning 50 next week, man, and I'm telling you, Freddie is going to straighten it all out. So that's it for this week's edition of The Horseman's Voice, and we really, really thank you for your time today, Rashawn.
Okay, thank you. You asked me for my nickname.
What is your nickname?
Call me the King of the Fires.
So we got Man is the Godfather, and we got King Rashawn Trigg checking out. Thanks again, man.
All right, thank you.